Hello and good evening. I'm Catherine Barnett, and on behalf of Chillicothe Public Library, it's my pleasure to welcome both our in-person and our online audiences to tonight's presentation, celebrating National Poetry Month with Illinois Poet Laureate Angela Jackson. This is an Illinois Humanities Rhodes Scholars Speakers Bureau event. Before we get started today, I have a few housekeeping items for those tuning in through Zoom. If you hover over the Zoom screen, you'll see a series of tools at the bottom. Automated closed captioning is available. To view or hide subtitles, please click on the closed captioning live transcript icon at the bottom of the Zoom screen and select the option that you want. You can click on chat to comment and interact with each other. If you want your comment to be visible to everyone, please make sure to select panelists and all attendees from the drop-down menu. You can submit questions through the chat or the Q&A tool, or you can click the raise hand tool to let us know that you have a question that you'd like to ask verbally, and we'll enable you to unmute yourself so that you can ask it. Tonight's program is being recorded, and the recording will be available to view on the library's Facebook page and YouTube channel. As I mentioned a moment ago, this is an Illinois Humanities Rhodes Scholars Speakers Bureau event. The mission of Illinois Humanities is to strengthen social, political, and economic fabric of Illinois through constructive conversation and civic engagement. Their Rhodes Scholars Speakers Bureau supports that mission by inviting Illinois authors, artists, and scholars to share their expertise and enthusiasm with people in communities throughout our state. After this event, we hope you'll complete the audience feedback survey, which will help Illinois Humanities as they plan future programs and seek support for their work. To learn about other Rhodes Scholars presentations, other Illinois Humanities programs, and their grant opportunities, please visit www.illinoishumanities.org. We hope you enjoy the presentation. And now it's my honor to introduce our presenter. Angela Jackson, Illinois' 5th Poet Laureate, is an award-winning poet, novelist, and playwright who has published 3 chapbooks and 4 volumes of poetry. Born in Greenville, Mississippi, and raised on Chicago's South Side, she was educated at Northwestern University and the University of Chicago. Her collections of poetry include Voodoo Love Magic, Dark Legs and Silk Kisses, The Beatitudes of the Spinners, which was awarded the Carl Sandburg Award and the Chicago Sun-Times Friends of Literature Book of the Year Award, and All These Roads Be Luminous, Poems Selected and New, which was nominated for the National Book Award, and It Seems Like a Mighty Long Time, nominated for the Pulitzer Prize, the Penn Open Book Award, finalist for the Hurston Wright Legacy Award, and a finalist for the Milt Kessler Poetry Prize. She received a Pushcart Prize and an American Book Award for Solo in the Boxcar Third Floor E. Her most recent book, More Than Meat and Raiment, was just released earlier this year. So big congratulations on that. And with that, I want to welcome our very special guest, Angela Jackson. It's all yours. Over to you, Ms. Jackson.
Oh, is it my fault or what's going on?
Well, we can see and hear you, so I think
But I
everything's
can't
working
see
okay.
me.
You can't see yourself?
No.
Oh.
Well, I'm just going to start reading.
Okay.
Okay. Giving Thanks is my first poem that I wrote as Poet Laureate of Illinois. Giving Thanks, Illinois 2020. We give thanks for red cardinals that appear anywhere, for violets pristine and tender, and tall white oaks that bear the weight of Midwestern winds moving across the prairie state. Thanks for the kiss of the Great Lake, Michigan, on a big Chicago, bodacious and bursting with promises. Thanks for the lakes and rivers that flow through a state of dreams and blood and tears, thin rivers of toil that lace the land, and a big river, Mississippi, that runs. Thanks for mid-cities churning industry, for rural places poised on tractors and way stations, people with all kinds of people, all colors of one in the land of Lincoln, lifting freedom, union, yes. We pray for each other in all our heartbreaks. We give thanks for hope, for family, for dear ones and neighbors, for I love you written on the red wings of cardinals, on the sweet petals of violets, on the strong brown branches of oaks. We give thanks, thanks, and thanks. Giving thanks. I'm going to prove that poems are for everyone by starting off of my poems with a poem that I wrote when I was 18, and young people still like me to read it today because it's especially useful when you like somebody and they don't know that you like them and you want to kind of catch their interest. You can change a few words around and make it suit you. You have my permission to do it. Voodoo love magic. I'm gonna put a hex on you, work some voodoo magic on your mind. I'm a mess with you. I'm gonna set a love tune in your heart, have you singing me from morning till noon to midnight. You can't help yourself, baby. I'm gonna own your soul. Gonna do to you what you done to me and more. Wake you up at 4 just to call my name, make you see my face in your mirror, have you hearing my voice in the wind. You better watch out, 'cause I'm getting into your head, ready to do a love thing to your insides, working voodoo on you, doing Black woman love magic to you. I'm gonna put a hex on you. "12 and 13-year-olds really like that poem. That proves that poems can be fun. Poems can also help us remember to be witness participants in our own lives. Strolling. Some places you could die in if you could just go on living there. The boy, his legs bare and small, swinging in the stroller, sockless, suede-shoed feet touching the runner. He can walk, but the woman keeps him from running into the street. He won't obey, but listens to everything we say. Head tilted, face changing with the conversation. Green leaves leap through fences, Cars wait while we cross, and each bird the boy greets with its name. Bird flies away. The sky holds everything. The woman pushes her son along, her arms strong enough to hold 9 strong horses prancing. She's given her money away because someone had to bury a child. That is the worst thing, a mother burying her child. I would never do that to her, even though it means what it means. 1,000 years from now, when I am only a dream, I will dream this dream of strolling. Perhaps I am doing so now. One day in 1975, when I was over my parents' house, because by then I had moved out and lived with my sister, but I was over there writing a paper for a literary criticism class, and I decided to take a break and got up and went to the window and watched my mother in my father's garden. Anyway, and how my mother does work in my father's garden. This afternoon, without wind of September in heat, the monkey cigar tree, once struck by lightning, grows anyway and how. Its roots have begun again to be at an awkward height, and this afternoon of lazy sun bloomed in heat. The tree bends and touches the greens and squash in my father's garden, begun from brick and rocks.
Call from Stewart Larger. Call from Stewart Larger. Call from Stewart Larger.
We thought the only thing that would grow in this city would be broken glass. On vacant lot and faith shovel, my father planted anyway and how. He set his task and grew his greens too close, like people in tenement rooms. And my cousin fixed the seeds that opened cramped yellow, transplanted them in sun and soil and air. Her hands are whiskey and kindness like herself. My father's garden grew. He never knew my cousin sharing her healing care. Now, ready for evening, my mother does work in my father's garden. The monkey cigar tree, my brother stalked things that grew from it, pop magic in their heads. Once grows again and bends and touches the greens, the squash, the beans. And my mother bends and touches like tree shadow. Her orange dress signals sun to set. My father's planting sprawls thick-limbed and sound. Tomorrow, some stranger will pass and ask, how did he break this unfriendly ground? I tried to call any sister of mine who I thought would call me when I was reading, but I didn't get that one. Summer and the City. Summer nights, cool came down, blotting heat like a kiss for colored children. Heat surged as we danced jagged up and down the street, played hide and seek. Last night, night before, 24 robbers at my door. I got up, let them in, hit them in the head with a rolling pin. Oh, hid among the leaves of church hedges, we smelled something slow and splendid in our sweat. Our fathers, we knew, worked good jobs that required muscle. Our mothers in day work used elbow grease and unwritten receipts for smothered chicken and gravy caused white women to envy and delight. Outside, mothers waited for aid checks and the long gone man. Large women on folding chairs ate chunks of Argo starch. Lean days, sugar sandwiches, ketchup or mayonnaise, missing meat, a vague notion, love, manna. Twilight blessed the blocks, poured from a dark man's mouth like a spout of Joe Louis milk, our champion toast, heralding the greatest arrival, however long the getting there. Slow rocking grandmothers spit out words into small cans held in their hands. Their eyes trained on us from deep South porches we never left behind, never left us even after Exodus. Mouths wide open, we drank the evening's pleasure. Men, women who loved us more than what we could have known. We were their quick, flashing hope treasures, the memory of us, their milk, their honey. That's from my new book. Here is a poem I always read about one of my favorite people who was like a second mother to me. She passed from COVID in January, but when she lived, she lived. She wore red dresses above the knee before they were the fashion. She wore stylish wigs and her makeup was always perfection. You know, that the eyeliner that Elizabeth Taylor wore and Cleopatra, that's the way hers was done. And she was my cousin Willie Mae, choosing the blues. When Willie Mae went down to the barber shop to visit her boyfriend who cut hair there, I went with her, walking beside her on the street. The men said, hey, and stopped to watch her just walk. Boyfriend barber cut hair and cut his glance at her. Oh, he could see the tree for the forest. He pressed down the wild crest on a man's head and shaved it off just so he could watch her standing there by the jukebox, choosing the blues she would wear for the afternoon. Right there, little Milton would shout, shoot through the storefront with the peppermint stick sentry twirling outside. If I didn't love you, baby, grits ain't grocery, eggs ain't poultry, and Mona Lisa was a man. And every razor and mouth would stop its dissembling business and time sit down in the barber's chair until memory poised with its scissors in hand, not to cut it too short, just take a little off the ends. I heard this voice one day, and it was the voice like my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, Miss Mary Mariah Jefferson Jackson. But it wasn't her voice. It was a woman just talking. And she was Miss Sheba Williams, as told to this reporter from the Community News Front. I used to live by the window, barely lifting the blinds. After Mr. Williams died and our children grown, moved away from home and up around where the white folks stay, I could bend my elbows in my kitchen at last, stretch my legs in bed, plenty of room to breathe on my own, but even my throat closed up. There was murder outside my door and no use for age. Too many twisted in a twisting rage, or praying they way into designer jeans so they can wear somebody else's name on their behind, a brand name. My mama told me enough about the days of wearing somebody else's name. I stayed behind my blinds so nobody could see up in here my 19-inch screen TV my daughter brought me, my stereo. My son say now I can hear Amazing Grace, the instrument so sensitive, you can hear an angel clear her throat in the background while Aretha lead the seraphim and cherubim on through it. Row by row, they lined up below my window, smoking them funny cigarettes or just plain old cools. They talk a lot about the weather, freezing in it, about war, dying in it, about women getting in it, about money grabbing hold in it. How would I know ever which one of them stole my Social Security check? Not that nice one who carried my grocery bags and picked me up off the ice and took me home and called my children, and the ambulance didn't come for a long time. After all that, he wouldn't take a thank you dime from me. He reminded me of someone. No, I would not go to live in children's homes. I couldn't leave Mr. Williams' memory alone. He was the one made me open my window and holler down at him one shiny day. I say, come on up here and taste these greens. Put some pep in your step, I mean. Here he come in my doorway, looking like Mr. Williams, my own. He's 17, smart and lean. I'm 80. He called me lady. I pray I die long before he do, and he use what I give him in my aged days. He begged for my secrets, Miss Williams. Why you want to take your knowledge and hide? I used to live by the window. Now I live outside. That ain't such a big story, darling. But believe you me, it's history. This story is one that's been on TV in recent months, and so it should be pretty prominent in our minds. 1,000 pages. When they came for him, they came with flashlight in one hand, gun in the other, rousing the city boy from innocent sleep. Awake, he was guilty of a whistle, a touch in the palm of a white woman's hand, they charged. He was 14 and he was fresh as clean laundry. His mother considered the ruins of her once beautiful son, the hanging eye, the missing other, the tongue cut out and hanging, the privates pried off, the head hacked front from back. How articulate was this wrecked flesh, the remains of her boy, once beautiful, then ruined. She left the casket open. People waited in a line that curved around the corners of heartbreak. Just one glance and men shivered, women fainted. 1,000 pages turned, a new place for the race that had seen enough carnage of color, cocky or quiet. And that was in 1955. Then later on in 1955, Miss Rosa rides the bus. That day in December, I sat down by Miss Muffet of Montgomery. I was myriad weary, feet swole from sewing seams on a filthy fabric, tired sore of peddling the rusty singer. Dingy cotton thread jammed in the eye. All life long, I'd slide through century rings, loathsome with tears, dreaming my own silk self. It was not like they all say. Miss Liberty Muffet, she didn't jump at the sight of me, not exactly. They hauled me away, 1,000 kicking legs pinned down. The rest of me, I tell you, a cloud, beautiful trouble on the dead December horizon, come to sit in judgment. How many miles as the Jim Crow flies over oceans and some I rumble. They couldn't hold me down long. No, my feet were tired, my eyes were sore, my heart was raw from hemming dirty edges of Miss L. Muffet's garment. I rode again, 1,000 bloody miles after the crow flies. That day in December, long remembered, when I sat down beside Miss Muffet of Montgomery, I said, like the joke say, "What's in the bowl, thief?" I said, "That's your curse." I said, "This my way." She slipped her frock, disembarked, settled in the suburbs, deaf, mute, lewd, and blind. The bowl she left behind, the empty bowl mine, the spoiled dress. Jim Crow dies and ravens come with crumbs. They say, "Eat and be satisfied." I fast and pray and ride. One thing that pleases me about that poem is there were like 10 poems for the civil rights movement, and I came upon it online, and that poem was included in it, in the 10 poems, along with one by Elizabeth Alexander, her inaugural poem. Elizabeth Alexander. I can't remember the other ones, but they were notable poems. And it was nice to be notable. The Love of Travelers. You find out about Illinois on the way to Mississippi as you travel from up Chicago all the way down. And when you hit Effingham, you know you're just about out of Illinois, and it's a long state. The Love of Travelers. At the rest stop on the way to Mississippi, we found the butterfly mired in the oil slick, its wings thick and blunted, one of us tender in the fingertips, smooth with a tissue, the oil that came off only a little, the oil smeared wings like lips colored with lipstick, blotted before a kiss. So delicate, the cleansing of the wings, I thought the color, soft as watercolors, would wash off under the method of her mercy for something so slight and graceful, injured beyond the love of travelers. It was torn then, even after her kindest work, the almost moth, exquisite charity could not mend. What weighted the wing, melded with it, then ruptured it in release. The body of the thing lifted out of its place between the washed wings. Imagine the agony of a self separated by gentlest repair. Should we kill it? One of us said, and I said yes, but none of us had the nerve. We walked away. The last of the oil welding the butterfly to the wood of the picnic table. The wings stuck out and quivered when wind went by. Whoever found it must have marveled at this and loved it for what it was and had been. I think meticulous mercy is the work of travelers, and leaving things as they are, punishment or reward. I have died for the smallest things, nothing washes off. This is a poem inspired by my mother and father. The mother behaves like a young woman with a lover when Nat King Cole comes on the box. She takes off her run-over shoes. She removes her rerun stockings. She unzips her re-hem skirt. She parts with her polyester blouse. She lies down on the sagging couch. Husband and children hide in the living room dark. The television glow slides over her slip like moonlight. Nat King Cole's glossed hair glistens like an onyx. His voice shines in her eyes. She closes them. His song ends on the edges of her Mona Lisa smile. Midnight sighs over the silence of sleeping children. She sleeps on and on the sagging couch until husband invites her to his bed, his voice newly tender, newly televised. It's only been in recent years that I've realized how interesting my parents were. noticed how interested my mother was when I lived with her. She passed away Christmas Eve, 2015. My father died in 1993. This is about our teenage years in the house on 55th and Wentworth, where we lived for 60 years. Hot fun in the summertime. 3 in college at once. Our parties in summer brought out the best of us citywide. The windows open to a breeze we found to cool our sweat in the hothouse where afros bloomed. We were the rage. We danced vocabulary of intelligent toughness, 151 rum punch, not for punks or babies who hung around the knees of the dining room table dancing with the chaperones. Mama showed us how to make a feast for dreamers and rappers when rapping and the rap were love offerings or wise, smooth parts of speech, parting the waters of white foam-flooded minds. But these nights, we were all Black. My father danced the Uncle Willie, turning his feet in, then splaying them out, country. And I wish he would again. Nobody thought it strange the way we loved ourselves. This is a poem that I wrote for National Poetry Month. It's from an actual event. The poem in the pocket. My younger sister loved a gifted young poet who was my friend. They made a daughter 7 months before he died at 25. I wrote a poem about these lovely and sad events. One bright day, 3 or 4 years later, I rushed home from reading poetry and placed a folder full of my poems on a chair while I performed a chore. My 4 nieces, toddlers, or not much more in age, that daughter among them, fell upon the poems and threw them about like miraculous white leaves all over the floor. I returned, chastising the mischievous girls. I gathered up the poems, all but one I could not find. I made the gifted poet's daughter, clutching her pocket, let me see what was inside. There I found the poem about her father, carefully folded and hidden in her pocket. She, who could not yet make sense of alphabet. I knew there was a poet in this event. It was not me. Three short ones. No, 2 short ones and 1 long one. Now, this is a very current poem. Asylum baby. She crawls crying across the concrete, searching for something soft, embrace language above her, hard, not soft, music tongue, something soothing, diapered, crying. She scoots to the edge of cement floor. She'll touch her tiny fingers as petals to the metal web. she cannot name. She has no word for jail or cage or prison or labyrinth, baby's breath trapped. Barely word for mama, for papi, no words for I want soft to hold me, me, no word for me, no word for free. And finally, one poem, and then the long poem that concludes my new book. The trick is not to think. This is about spiders. I spent 9 years investigating spiders and writing the book, Dark Legs and Silk Kisses. I researched spiders. I found them to be respected. They're like people. Some are good and some are bad, but they're to be respected. They have a way of traveling, some of them. They cast out a line and attach it to something that moves like a bicycle wheel, and they'll spin around and keep traveling. And that movement is called ballooning. The trick is not to think on the art of ballooning. The trick is not to think. It's in the body. Some light you let go, then ride. The trick is not to think. Could it be the heart can breathe and drag you on its breath as far as love can go? Could it be the heart can breathe? Don't think. Could it be you could hold the heart's breath? Don't think. Could it be you could let the heart's breath go, then follow? Oh, grabbing, hold, whatever is traveling, surging away. Could it be you could cast off in blue sky over blue water and come upon a ship far at sea? You are at sea, but you be anyway. Could it be you arrive far afield, gleefully in a cradle in your own backyard? Could it be life took you for a ride? Could it be you let your conscience be your guide, or not, just the heart, and wind up where you are? The trick is not to think up scenes you've left behind, not to hold what stays down. Just leap up on a dream, an air of savoir-faire that leaps from inside you and carries you wondrous, buoyant to the place you are, you, a new old traveler, traveling magic show. Let go all old sorrow. Away, away we go. And finally, a long poem. When my freshman year at Northwestern, I had the great poet Margaret Walker for a teacher, and she read her classic poem, For My People, that was written in 1942. And when I was sitting watching her read and listening, and I was thinking that one day I would write something about that. It took me decades and decades. Was it 4 decades? Let's see. 1, 3, 4, over 4 decades to do it. This is called For Our People. It's an epic poem. Well, it ain't that epic. It's long though. It's like 7 minutes. For our people everywhere singing their gospels and their rap, their blues, R&B, and their jazz, their soul and their neo-soul, all great Black music, scuffling, scrimping, struggling to get by. For our people working as wage slaves in collars, blue, white, and pink, doing the best they can with what they have, hoping it will not be taken away with a pink slip, a sudden slip from a parapet on cement into disability or welfare or not, hustling to keep from being crushed on the unemployment line. For our people, for the way of years sipping summer from a tall glass of ice water, buttermilk, and cornbread out of a mayonnaise jar. Years testing watermelon, cutting a plug of sweetness, knocking on the round or oblong to listen to the taste. For the excellence of young boys running like they stole something, but only owing themselves and the strength in their legs, and girls who could keep up before breath held them back. For our people and red Kool-Aid days, for smothered chicken and our cries smothered in a world that did not adore us, but ignored us, or worse, and ran us back on the other side of the viaduct where we belong, not in the wild world we could conquer or excel in, given the gates opening and tools for redress. For our people everywhere, growing gardens on vacant lots, training roses and black-eyed Susans and perennials in front yards, raking leaves and shoveling snow, scooping dew and picking up litter, washing and ironing out the wrinkles of everyday existence. For our people running with nowhere to go, watching television and movies, looking for ourselves, searching books and the nooks and crannies of history for a glimpse of what was waylaid and what is to be, in barbershops and beauty parlors and ice cream parlors and the stone faces in funeral parlors, picking up children from school, from daycare, taking them to football, soccer, baseball, tennis, basketball, volleyball, having a ball at family reunions on Saturday nights. For our people who came in chains, tortured over turbulent waves, broken-hearted and broken tongue and broken magic, broken bloodlines, strangled and whipped, distraught and driven to the edge of the mine and beyond. For our people leaping to the sea, feeding sharks and myths and cautionary tales, surviving the journey to reach auction blocks, a prurient pedestal for deposed queens and chieftains, villagers humiliated, abused, raped, and riddled with misery into exquisite survivals, changing vocabulary and clothes, changing into sleek panthers and superheroes, making the world safe for demonstrations of protest and affection, all beauty and love, scapegoated, pilloried, denied the excellence we bring. For our people grasping for gadgets and genuflecting to electric celebrity, worshiping trinkets and noisome symbols that blink and itch the eyes, gaming and gambling and laughing to keep from crying and crying, laughing, cracking up and falling out, drinking suicide and spilling milk and blood, gunned down under lampposts, in playgrounds, bloodied in drive-bys, in alleys, in living rooms, in beds, sleeping. For our people, bludgeoned by police and each other, killed by presumptuous watchers, taxed for Black and driving while Black, shot in the back, falsely convicted, sentenced to dwell alone and want to be redeemed, incarcerated in stone, tracked in department stores, harassed, stalked in malls, and all the places people spend and sell. Our people selling loose squares, oil, socks, and peanuts on the corners of our desperate longing for hair, for nails, for body graffiti. For our people in the casinos, scheming in pennies from heaven with one-armed pirates dreaming in die and cards, and dealers dreaming numbers and playing them till they hit. For our people drowning in spirits, burning throats and pockets, losing it all, spoiling livers, lungs, and kidneys, hearts with too much, each of us addicted to drugs of fashion, to ancient hurt, choosing crabs in a barrel or lifting as we climb, each one teach one. For our people who do not belong to me, but to all of us, for we belong to each other, must hold each other in heart and mind. For our people in the citadels of learning, in the one-room schoolhouse, in the storefronts of funeral parlor fans, and the cathedrals of painted windows and arched ceilings that lean toward sky. For our people in the baptismal pool, in white robes on the edge of the river, for our people chanting and praying and hoping for a sweeter brew to sip and savor. Let a new earth arise. Let justice pour like trembling rain and mercy prevail as plentiful fields. Let our strength be matched by vulnerable honesty of heart. May resilience be our guide, for we will stumble and then will rise, more able having fallen, more beautiful having met each other along the way as we lifted each other up. Hero people who go out of their way for love and stay on the way of goodness. Let our people be the people who remember and believe that love is all our portions, all our currencies, and all our one. Each of us injured or exalted, betrayer or betrayed, muted and declamatory, all one. Each of us, all of us, each a private star beloved in the universe. Each of us creature of burdens and singing angel merged as one, alive and moving upward, holding on and lifting this earth, our house, precious and precarious, and God be our witness between this gravity and this grace. Hold tight and fly. Thank you, Runako Robinson.
That was so beautiful. Thank you. Your poetry is so evocative. I love the music in it and how you communicate that through your very expressive interpretation when you're reading. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I read you a couple of the comments that have come up?
Oh, please. I hope I can hear. Yes.
I missed which one you were reading when this comment came up, but Renako said, oops, this poem makes me want to draw pictures of the beautiful imagery. And so many of your poems did give these beautiful images, and I would love to see what the listeners might envision as they're hearing your words.
That's an interesting idea. You know, my book covers use paintings and collages by African American artists. This latest one is a collage by Krista Franklin that I just adore. And there's another one by Jonathan Green. And then there's one by Romar Burden. The other one doesn't have an African American artist.
I noticed the collage. I was intrigued by the collage on your new book, More Than Meat and Raiment, and I was going to ask you about that and if you selected the cover image and how you decided
I helped select. They gave me some some ones to choose from, and I got to say which one I like best. Yeah.
How did you choose that one?
Um, oh, Frederick Douglass is in the window, and Frederick Douglass believed that freedom was achieved through reading. And you see that the father is showing the son how to read, and they're all a part of that reading experience, and it's about freedom. So the whole painting collage is about freedom and moving toward freedom. And I think this book is about freedom. In the first section that you read, that the family moves in the Great Migration from the South to the North for greater freedom. And in the middle one, there's a lesson learned that people can be enslaved by their worst selves. So freedom is being your best self. That's the house, and the other poems in the third section are about contemporary life. And there's a lot of commentary about the freedom struggle. There's a very long epic poem, 12 pages long, about the Black Lives Matter movement and the murders of Black men and women too by police. And those are impediments to freedom. Not only the impediments, one thing that historian Lerone Bennett said about slavery in his book, From Slavery to Freedom, is that slavery impacts not only the person who is enslaved, but the person who does the enslaving. They're also slaves to their worst selves. So they're slave. At least the one who is enslaved got sense enough to know they're a slave, but the ones who enslave others is a slave. So it's about many of the poems, like that poem, Asylum Baby. You know, that baby wants to be free. And that's based on reality of what's going on now, because many of those children still have not been put back with their parents, you know, who were separated at the borders. They still aren't put back with their parents. So.
Thank you. I have a couple more comments to read, and then we have some questions coming in as well. Jenny said, "You're so amazing. Your poetry is phenomenal, powerful, and beautiful. How wonderful to hear about you studying spiders. Thank you for this wonderful program."
Oh, and thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me and letting me share my work with you. It's my pleasure to get a chance to be heard.
And
My
now,
friend of mine who has known me for many years was saying, people don't know you. Not that many people know you. And I guess I'm not the most well-known poet, you know? So I ought to be glad to be able to read.
well, it's sure an honor to get to know you a little more tonight. So we have someone who'd like to ask a question. So Renako, I'm going to go ahead and allow you to talk.
I had a student named Renako Robinson. Are you Renako Robinson?
That is Renako Robinson, and you can go ahead and ask your question now if you like. Are you there, Renako? Okay, it sounds like maybe Renako's mic isn't picking up. So, if you'd like to type in your question, you can. Sorry about that.
She's saying, I am here.
Go ahead, Renako. Okay. For some reason, the sound isn't picking up. So, if you'd like to type, and meanwhile, anyone else, if you'd like to drop a question in the chat or the Q&A, or if you'd like to raise your hand, we will do our best to unmute you and see if you can speak your question as well. If you're watching on Facebook, you can drop your question in the comments there, and I'll go ahead and communicate that to Ms. Jackson. Sorry, Renako, we can't hear you. Are you able to type your question? Well, while we wait for trying to get that question in, I wondered if I saw that a lot of your poetry is about Chicago and about Illinois and growing up, at least in that first section of your new book. Did you always feel drawn to writing about Illinois and your growing up place?
Well, I grew
Or
up in
did you create
Illinois. I only lived in Mississippi for a year and also some long visits to Mississippi. So I usually put Mississippi in my fiction for some reason. I don't know why that happened, the way that worked out, but I tend to put Mississippi in the fiction. And in my fiction, I don't say Chicago, I call it the city, like it's a, I don't know why, but I do. And I move stuff around in my fiction in the city. So, but in my poetry, it's very specifically Chicago. I've got a poem called Cook County Hospital, 1962, because I was in Cook County Hospital in 1962. And St. Charles Awanga Church. That's where I went to church. Bride in the L. I have a poem dedicated to Coco Taylor, the blues woman, because I saw her rehearsing around the corner from my house when I was a little girl. they're Runaco, you are my Runaco.
So
I remember you. You live in Chillicothe? How did you get there? You're always moving around.
looks like Renako's trying to fix the audio, so but it is so fun, the connections that can be made over these programs. So Donna asks, how were you selected to be the Poet Laureate of Illinois? Sorry, can you hear me?
I can't hear.
Oh, sorry. How were you selected to be the Poet Laureate?
Oh, they had a grueling process. We had to write an essay on what we would do if we were selected. I had to come up with a project, you know. I had to submit poetry, and then I had to do a little video. And there was a statewide committee that reviewed all of the applicants, and then they came up with 3 finalists, and I was one of the 3 finalists. And then the 3 finalists were reviewed by Mrs. Pritzker, the First Lady of Illinois, and she made the final selection by looking at our video and reading our poetry and looking at our projects that we would do. And my project was to create 4 ambassadors of poetry in their 20s to go out and to do workshops and residencies in the state.
How is the project going?
Well, it's very difficult with COVID, so it's not as fluid as I would have wanted, and some of them are winding up having to do some Zooms too. Yeah.
We have another comment by Ruby. She says, it was such an honor to hear you speak tonight, and I can't wait to go to the library and check out some of your work. I
Oh,
also
thank you.
loved the spider poem and the butterfly poem, as I am an avid insect enthusiast and raise butterflies. I'm originally from Georgia, and I'm so excited to learn more about your Illinois through your eyes. Thanks, Ruby.
Thank you. I had a poet named Colette Armstead, who went to Georgia. She passed away in Georgia, but she really was writing poems about butterflies. Were there times in what?
So I'm going to read this question out for those who are maybe watching on Facebook, since they won't be able to see it. But Jenny says, your poetry is powerful and often discusses racism and the Black experience. Were there times in your career that people didn't accept your work or felt that it was too, quote, controversial? Was it negatively received by white people? And how has that changed over time in your life? A lot of questions in there.
That's hard to answer. You know what? It probably is true, but I wasn't paying attention because I was more interested in who was interested in me, than in people who weren't interested in me. But I'm sure when I think about poets who have been more lauded and successful, I don't think they have dealt with racism as directly as I have, you know. So they may have talked about being African American, but not directly. And more to the point, they've talked more about inside of white culture, you know. Thank you, Renako. I still remember you.
Well, it is clear you have touched a lot of lives through your writing and teaching.
But you know what? I am really going to have to start putting stuff on my Humanities website. I'm gonna have to. I did that one statement. I need to update it because I haven't said anything since for months.
Is that the Poet Laureate site on Illinois.gov?
Yeah, I need to say something else. Yeah.
So for those who tuned in tonight, you can read the poem Giving Thanks on that website and find some other information about the Illinois Poet Laureate. And there's a welcome statement from Ms. Jackson on there as well. Are there any other questions?
Runako, write me care of the Illinois Humanities. Catherine Barnett will give you their information because I don't know their address by heart.
I shared their website up at the top. It's www.ilhumanities.org. There should be someone on there that can
write me care of Illinois Humanities. If my assistant were here, she would be able to tell you, but I don't know where she is. She had a tragedy recently. Her mother died last month, so she hasn't caught up yet. Okay, Runako, I'll be looking forward to it.
Well, it looks like we don't have any other questions coming in. So thank you so very much. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to us tonight?
No, I'm fine. I'm happy.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. When you do leave the webinar, you'll be prompted to complete a survey from Illinois Humanities, and please do take a moment to provide some feedback about this program because that helps them in their grant writing and in continuing the good work that they're doing there. And that's it. That all we have for tonight. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.